My name is Sanne Frequin. I am Assistant Professor of Digital Art History at Utrecht University, and today I would like to tell you something about our series game, MedievalMe. Before I can tell you about our game, I first need to explain what a serious game is. A serious game is a game that was designed for a primary purpose other than pure entertainment, which obviously does not mean that it can't be fun, but the goal of the game is to educate people in a fun way. In our game, the target is twofold. Firstly, we would like the students to learn the value of interdisciplinary collaboration. We as medievalists know how important it is to work with different disciplines to solve the problems that we face. But in high school in the Netherlands, students are most of the time in a monodisciplinary setting when they study. So they study Dutch, or they study German, or they study math, but seldom a connection between these different areas is being made. The other goal in this game is to let students work with a primary source, so to let them investigate this source like they're actual scientists themselves. The primary source that the students investigate in the game is the medieval manuscript Der Naturen Bloeme, the most beautiful of nature. This is one of the top pieces of the KB Royal Library in The Hague, and it's also known as KBKA 16. Thomas of Cantipré, a Dominican friar, wrote an encyclopedia, the Liber der Natura Rerum, in the year 2030-2045. The topics that he discusses are very diverse. He speaks about stone, flowers, the human race, birds, fishes, spices, and metals. His text is written in Latin and aimed at a learned public. The book of Thomas of Cantipré was translated by Jacob van Maerlant, who lived from 1235 until 1300 and worked in Flanders. He was a very productive writer. During his lifetime, he wrote more than 230,000 lines of verse, and in 1270 he translated the Liber der Natura Rerum in Middle Dutch. Nowadays, there are known 11 full copies, of which the KB has 2 copies, and 8 fragmented versions of Der Naturen Bloeme. KB KA16 is a richly decorated manuscript with a lot of miniatures, and it contains more than 16,500 lines of verse. KB KA16 was very suitable for our game because of 2 reasons. Our game is about interdisciplinary science, and an encyclopedia writing about all aspects of the world makes sure that we can ask questions about astronomy, biology, but also about art history and linguistics. The second reason, as Suzette van Haren has argued, is that the appropriation of medieval images on social media is a way to breathe new life into these old artifacts. Der Naturen Bloeme fits the purpose of modern appropriation, as this well-known Bernie Sanders meme shows. Memes are an important part of the lives of our target group, the 15 until 18-year-old high school students, and the memification of medieval images is a way to make these artifacts relevant for this target group, and I will come back to this later. So, how does the game work? The game is being played on a mobile device, preferably a smartphone, but it's also possible to play it on a tablet or on a laptop. In the classroom, the teacher can start the game. This takes for about 3 minutes. The only thing that a teacher needs to enter in the dashboard is the level of the students and the number of the students. After that, the game starts with choosing a nickname, and when all nicknames are being picked, the computer makes teams of 3 students. The 3 students need to pick their preferred discipline. They can choose between languages, geography, nature, and art and history. And it's not possible to have 2 students from one discipline in a group, so they need to discuss where their talents lay. And after that, the game begins. Multiple rounds can be played. In every round, there is one main player, and this main player is in charge of the source of Der Naturen Bloeme and needs to solve the main question. The 2 other players have to unlock hints to solve the main question by playing minigames. For both answering the minigames and the main question, the primary source is needed. and only the main player can check Der Naturen Bloeme during the game because they have a VR version available on their telephone. When the round is finished, a new round is being played, and then another player is the main scientist and can look at the manuscript in VR on their device. What's important to know is that every question is tailored to the chosen discipline of the student. So, for example, if the student picks nature, he or her gets a question about the planets, and a student that has chosen art history gets a question about iconography. After 45 minutes, the game ends automatically, and the group that has solved the most questions wins. After the game, the teacher can choose to evaluate the game to see what information the students have picked up from the game. And by finishing the game, the students also unlock a meme in the Medieval Meme Generator, another very, very famous KB website, where they can appropriate a medieval miniature, play with it, and share it with their friends on social media. I did not develop this game myself. The name of the KB Royal Library was mentioned a couple of times, but this is a collaboration between not only a heritage institution and academia, also with creative industry. Doyle is a creative agency that has worked on this project extensively. We have developed the game with the target group, so we did multiple sessions with students and teachers to find out what they need. When is the game successful? So one of the things we learned from the teacher is that they have in fact very little preparation time. So they say we do not have the time to read about this medieval manuscript, and we really like to talk about it in our classes, but we are not people that have this knowledge on the plank. So you need to help us with that. And that is the reason why we made it as easy as possible. So the game plays itself, and it's not necessary to read about the medieval manuscript. From the students, we learned that they find it very important to have an actual game, so to be able to win something. When we started, wanted to make a collaborative game where they all build to something that is a good end result. But the students that we spoke said, no, we do not want that. We want to win. We need to be able to battle to one another. The third thing that is important is that we, during the development of this game, have measured the impact of the game. So we have constantly asked our players, our students and teachers, how do you feel playing this? Do we see something happening? Do we actually see a different perspective on interdisciplinary scientific collaboration? MedievalMe is a science communication project. It was generously funded by the NWA, the Dutch National Science Agenda. And for me, as a medievalist, it was a wonderful opportunity to develop something to show the importance of our work. I find it important to introduce the value of scientific collaboration to this target group. And for me, the most fun thing about this project was the opportunity to work together with a heritage institution, a creative agency, and with a lot of teachers and students. I think we have built a wonderful game that is not only serious fun, but also seriously important. And the nice thing is that we have developed MedievalMe as a game around Der Naturen Bloeme, but we have developed it in a way that we can easily also use it for other objects, other manuscripts. So if you are interested in this project, please do not hesitate to send me an email. I would happily answer all your questions, and if you see opportunities to involve your own research in this project or to make a game of your own research, I would encourage you to do so, because it will also help you to look at these objects, these manuscripts, in an entirely new way. I thank you for your attention.